Right, so we're going to be discussing today. What should you use? Feather Client or Lunar Client? So basically, the thought is that Lunar Client is often used by YouTubers such as MainPet, Ashbag, most of Lifesteal, and other YouTubers have switched from Feather Client to Lunar Client. But that doesn't make it specifically better. One thing that it does make it is that it's more trusted by YouTubers, but sometimes people have their own personal preference, such as Sharpness, who has stayed with Feather Client and been partnered with it for a while. And so has White as an example as the third best. So it's not like Feather Client is inherently bad. Because of the fact that these doesn't make you a worse player, for these top 100, 200 players still use it. But basically, YouTubers have been prone, such as the YouTuber known as Will, or the Green Gang is his Discord channel. He uses he used to use Feather Client, but used Lunar Client. And the only reason was that is because of the higher compatibility with Bliss SMP and other SMPs such as Money. And with this notable decrease within Feather Client main users, as MainPet also used to be a member of Feather Client who used it, but then decided to switch to Lunar Client. But its content has switched to non-client content as of recent in its scripted videos. So that's one thing. But also the notable YouTuber of Dolphin uses Feather Client. Oh my god, why is this doing that attribute swapping? Oh no, wait, how many? Why is the attribute swap we saw where then? Grab it. Anyways, sidetracked. So basically, so it's more, but one thing is, Lunar Client has very much been seen in recent years, finding so many more mods, so much more. But the reason I personally use Feather Client is for its crazy compatibility with mods. Lunar Client is very much fragile in its usage of mods. Since there's so many internal mods, which people may choose to use other mods, but its incapability of rendering other mods makes it difficult to for people to get the optimal game that they want. And this is challenging for people who you often see people that using Feather Client have quite modded games, because of the compatibility rates. But you also can see Lunar Client people. But name some names. Let's say people, but they can all. So people like Dwight, for example, who uses Feather Client. He has incredibly modded of a game, and with this, and since his game is so modded, he uses Feather Client because of its compatibility rates. But I just dropped my sword. Wait. Anyways, so many people will use Feather Client for mods, but it's the core aspect of mods and usage of them. And with the usage of mods, such as the particle changer, mods that the only reason people do complain about Lunar Client most of the time is because of how useless some of the mods can be. And that can be the same for Feather Client, but I would disagree. Most of them are pretty useful in their own cases. So, the loot beams, for example, which one of the least used ones, is often used by me if I've lost an item or I can't find something off up off a loot pile of a player that I've killed or my own dead body. Waypoints. It's used for. So yeah, that's one reason that people will use Forever Client but Lunar Client has so many mods that just like people don't use that you've never since the amount of mods it has, it's difficult for people to use it in all of its use all of them and actually make the full compatibilities of Lunar Client for how many mods are just completely useless. As Lunar Client is a PvP client, it has quite a few mods that just seem to not see the particle changer, for example. It's just a glorified version of sodium extras, which is pretty much completely incompatible with Lunar Client. And the fact that it's so incompatible. So my game is considered pretty unmodded in the community of PvPers but people like Codified, for example, who just I don't believe use any clients, and they have incredibly unmodded games. But other than that, it's pretty much. It really depends on preference what you're looking for. If you're looking for a modded game, then go for Forever Client. But if you're looking for the ability to have and also compatibility, then go for Forever Client. But if you're looking for inbuilt mods and pure just general power abilities, then I would recommend going for Forever Client. These are just my own personal recommendations. I don't know much about Lunar Client, so I know the bare bones aspects of it because I had used it for a while before I had switched to Forever Client. But pre that, and also Lunar Client's not really considered for low RAM or anything like that, or low PCs. Because my PCs, it's pretty good, but even with a decent CPU and a decent amount of memory, it can still lag too. That's the one reason people do use Forever Client, for the ability to use these. From Bot City. So, the true abilities of Forever Client are, and also it is incredibly optimized to be Forever Client. So it really depends on what gameplay you're looking for. For example, SP747 uses Lunar Client cores. He has a really unmodded game and he just needs inbuilt mods instead of having to But also one thing is, using the general just Minecraft launcher itself can be pretty useful if you don't want lag. So that's my personal preference of it. Anyways, so if you like what you're seeing, then go for a subscribe or like or anything. But everything helps. But I don't want you to feel as if you have to. So only if you enjoy it. Thank you.